When last we spoke, it was Thursday afternoon, and while that's only, like 5 days ago, it has been a rough time here in Philadelphia since some idiot started the show telling you how excited he was for the triple header that we had ahead of us on Thursday night. It feels like so long ago, but it's really 4 days later. There just don't seem to be a ton of answers, which is perhaps the most distressing part of the last few days of Philadelphia sports. How can the Phillies fix what has ailed them since basically Game 4 of the World Series in 2022? How can the Eagles balance talent and play calling and execution in an offense that lacks any sort of creativity or explosiveness? No freaking idea. Now, yes, it is the privilege of teams with great expectations to go to the playoffs 4 straight years or win 4 the first 6 after bringing home a championship, and fans have miserable. They can be miserable because of these recent expectations and performances. But a couple of years ago, didn't it just kind of feel like it was our turn? Our turn to have a run like Boston had with an all-time great football team and a multi-championship baseball team, and maybe throw in a few runs for the basketball and hockey teams as well. And despite one Super Bowl win and one Super Bowl loss and a World Series loss, and hey, let's throw in whatever the hell the Union have done as well, it feels like we're already backsliding before ever really getting that full city run that felt as if it was right within our grasp just a few years ago. The Flyers, still years away, home opener tonight. Can't wait to see what the Orange and Black do in the next 80 games. The Sixers are, of course, the Sixers. Meanwhile, this baseball team continues to be the opposite of clutch, and the football team appears lost. Now we just have dudes quitting mid-season. Okay, that doesn't seem great. I've always said the lows make the highs so much sweeter. But damn, man, can't we just get like a series of highs before having to suffer years of lows again? Just once in our lifetimes. Hey, everybody, how you doing? Well, that's good. Welcome to Philadelphia Live in the Xfinity Lounge. My name is Bill Matz. I am your director of fun and games for the afternoon. Joining me, our producer today, PHLY Phillies' own Tyler Zulli. Tyler, how are you dealing with recent events? Because I'm dealing with it poorly.
Yeah, sports are stupid. I don't want to do this anymore. And in the words of the guy from Office Space, I don't think I'm going to do that anymore. I don't think I'm going to pay my bills. I don't think I'm going to do my I'm out.
I'm done. I don't like doing it anymore.
Yeah, I'm good. You and I had a very similar sentiment. I opened up the Philly show almost the exact same way today.
Just like, weren't things supposed to go well for a little bit before they turned back to crap? Like, can't we just have like a good couple of months? Not just like, yeah, man, belts to asses in the Super Bowl parade, right back to everything being ass itself. I just... Really? All right, let's hit some headlines. I actually want to start and work our way up. Start at the bottom because this was announced just a few minutes ago. According to John Heyman, the Phillies will not fire Topper. That's right, Rob Thompson, back for 2026. He is signed, of course, through this season. We'll see what happens, throughout the year. Whether he signs an extension, they bring him back as a lame duck, whether they just get rid of him because they're sick of him in July. But I think we all want Schwarber back, right? I don't know of an alternative plan to JT. It just kind of seems like they need each other. Maybe, we talked off air about Adley Rushman. Like, yeah, sure, okay. But it's kind of just seems like JT and the Phils. And listen, of all the problems I have with this team, JT, well done in the playoffs, honestly. He was like the only guy that hit. I would like to see Ranger back. I think he's going to get a big old bag. He was like their best pitcher in the postseason. He's been really, really good for them when he's been healthy. So what exactly are they planning on changing? Is it just hope for the best? Hey, man, this team wins 95, 96 games. They've won the division a couple years in a row. That's baseball. Are we going to go with that for a third year in a row? Just kind of, yeah, I don't know what went wrong. This is a good team. They should win in the playoffs, even though they haven't since 2022. Like, is that the plan here? Because I'm going to be honest with you. That doesn't get me excited to go spend thousands of dollars at the ballpark.
I said to Andrew today, like, I'm surprised that Topper is back. Not because I think he's a bad manager and not because I think he's done poorly. I think, there's some decisions I think in the postseason he'd like to have back. But you're talking about one of the winningest coaches in Phillies history in terms of win percentages, 4 straight postseason appearances, 2 back-to-back division titles. There's a lot of good that comes with Rob Thompson, and I think some of that is because this team is supposed to be good, right? And so that happens. But I also I'm surprised that the move didn't get made because it's the old adage of like you can't fire the players.
Yeah,
so at some point,
change.
a change maybe gets made just for change's sake. So I am not like a Rob Thompson hater, and I'm not like jumping for joy if he would have gotten fired. But I am surprised that he is coming back, kind of almost just like point blank. There's not, I mean, I'm sure they had internal conversations, but it doesn't feel like there were a whole lot that got leaked. It was just kind of like, yeah, Topper's back.
I just if they were going to go out and have a big off season, and granted, maybe the manager wants a decision and they told him and that comes out, but make a couple signings, make a couple trades, make it feel a little different, and then announce, hey man, Topper's coming back. All right, maybe I could accept that. But as of now, it seems like best case scenario is run it back. And hey, maybe some of these young guys come up at some point and they have an impact. I guess that's a plan. It doesn't really feel like one other than, well, that's baseball. Cross your fingers and see how it goes. But as of now, it seems
hope is not a strategy, Bill.
It doesn't feel like one. But it does appear to be the plan for the 2026 Phillies. Speaking of things changing, it at least has in the Eagles locker room, because it seems like Za'Darius Smith just retired on a Monday. Now, listen, as somebody who has a regular segment called Matt's Hates Mornings, we'll get to that in a little bit. Fully respect a dude just showing up. This dude just deciding yeah, I don't want to come to work anymore, and I'm not going to do it. But it just doesn't seem to bode well for anything going on with the Eagles that their only productive edge rusher, who they had to sign after week 1, just decided I'm good right after he signed, saying, I got a lot left in the tank. I wasn't planning on hanging it up this offseason. I was waiting for the right opportunity, the right call, and got a lot of football in me. 5 games. That's exactly how much football Za'Darius Smith had in him. Now, listen, maybe it's a case of dude has a high ankle sprain, and if he's going to miss 6 weeks, he's like, F it. Perhaps I saw this floated out there in social media, maybe he was subject to some sort of league testing policy that he knew wasn't going to come back right for him, and he just decided to say, F it, I'm done. That's a possibility. But the top, as Charlie O'Connor would always say, Occam's razor, let's just go with the most obvious thing. He doesn't feel like dealing with this anymore, and he's not. And for a team that has no sacks from their edge rushers outside of from this guy, I think Patrick Johnson has one. I don't know if I'm going to count him or not because he's like a special teamer. This can't be anything but bad. It certainly doesn't indicate anything is going well over at the facility. Even if this doesn't indicate, yeah, there you go right there. I don't like my job. I don't think I'm going to go anymore. Za'Darius Smith just going, yeah, I'm good. I'm all set. That $9 million bucks, maybe I'm not gonna collect all that. I'd just rather play with my kids. Which, again, Hats off to you. You get to call it a career whenever, but I don't think it indicates anything good going on down at the NovaCare complex. If nothing else, it just can't mean anything good. Also, sounds like Matvei Michkov's out of shape. We get this. Listen, he's in 2 games. He's played about 14 minutes a game. He averaged almost 17 last year. And there was talk. I know Charlie and I talked a lot in the offseason. Not like he's in bad shape, but just wasn't maybe fully prepared last year for how strenuous the NHL is. A lot of times at the end of his shifts, he didn't have a whole lot left. That led to a lot of the cherry picking, not getting all the way back. And on Spittin' Chicklets today, Biz and Wit sound like they have some information, at least, that he isn't in the best possible shape.
I got little birdies everywhere, and I'm hearing that he didn't come in great shape.
He's out of shape. He's out of shape.
That's really?
Yeah.
I heard
not
that.
From talk,
you heard
obviously.
that too?
No, not from talk, but I heard he's out of shape.
Yeah, so obviously that's people are
Because
aware of
we
that.
interviewed Talk what was it, like 3 weeks ago?
That was before training camp.
No, that was I think that was
Who did you hear that
August,
from? You got
early
you got
September.
A birdie? Who told you?
I got birdie. I got birdies in Philly.
So
Great
coming
golf
out of-
in Philly.
I am
some of the best
currently
golf.
just trying to figure out who that source could be when they're talking about. I think Witt goes on to say, there's great golf in Philly, and that's kind of like the hint. There's plenty of guys that the Spittin' Chicklets guys have as potential sources. I mean, even Mark Recchi, who joined the organization, he would have played with Witt in Pittsburgh for some time. There's Rick Tocchet, obviously, has connections all throughout the media. Keith Jones. I have no idea who, but we just heard from Rick Tocchet, and he says in media availability today, well, Matvei Michkov had a little bit of an ankle thing this summer, and that kind of pushed his offseason training back a little bit. He's a little behind. Not great. Not a great start. And listen, we all love Matvei Michkov. I think the kid is going to absolutely be a star. It's on him, though. I don't want to turn this into a situation where, 2 games in, here's Rick Tocchet. He's just like John Tortorella. Like, it's on the players to earn their ice time. And if he has just been to this point, all right, he doesn't get a shift in overtime, so be it. He was the team's leading overtime goal scorer last year. It's a little odd. You'd think you'd want him out there, but I can't make this an organizational problem if it's the second coach in a row who's like, I need a little more.
Yeah, I think the one thing that I do find a little bit surprising is 2 games in, the discrepancy between playing time at the top and at the bottom. Not to say that doesn't happen everywhere where your fourth liners don't play as much as your first liners or whatever. And I know it's 2 different positions, but I look at Michkov playing 13, 14 minutes a night, and then I see Travis Sanheim putting up 31, 32 minutes a night, and it's like, the dude is going to be gassed by the end of the season. Like, I again, 2 different positions. I understand they don't pull from the same pool, but it is a little strange to watch one guy who is supposed to be your prospective star not get a whole lot of ice time, earned or not, and then you watch some of your defenders that are like, their legs are going to be gone by January.
Yeah, I do think they're like maybe a little too much. This is just it's early in the season. But what does surprise me is Mish was playing like 18, 20 minutes in the preseason and looked pretty damn good. And now suddenly there's an issue with his conditioning. We'll see how it works out. Maybe he plays 20 minutes in the home opener tonight, scores 2 goals, and all this is behind us after a couple of days. But it's just add another cherry to the top of the crap sandwich that has been the last couple weeks of Philly sports. All right, I want to talk some more Birds and about how historically bad this offense has been. We have People Are Strange, all sorts of fun stuff coming up. But first, we got to take a commercial break. Whether your favorite team wins or not, LOL, there's always another way to win on the BetParx online casino app. You got to check out new games like Huff and More Puff and Fireblaze Sky Queen. It's the only app I use to play all my favorite casino classics like Blackjack, like Roulette, like Craps, Poker, Baccarat, and all their hot online slots like Cash Eruption, 88 Fortunes. They have slots based on your favorite streaming shows like The Walking Dead and Squid Game. They have slots based on nostalgic favorites like The Goonies as well. you got to get in on the BetParks online casino app. And right now is the best time because new users get up to $1,000 casino bonus back if you're down in the first 24 hours. All you got to do is go to betparks.com, download the app, and enjoy all the action and excitement from the casino at your fingertips. Must be 21 and in PA, Jersey, Maryland, or Michigan for BetParks. You love to play. You play to win. You bet. BetParks. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
All right, let me tell you about our friends over at Xfinity, because if you're thinking about watching some of these playoffs or, hometown hockey team gets back in action at home for the first time tonight, you have to do it with Xfinity because they are the ultimate sports destination. You pair their 4K sound with incredible crystal clear optics. You get the best viewing seat all right from your couch. You don't have to leave the house and battle traffic and worry about concessions and tickets, and just watch the game from your home with our friends over at Xfinity. You get real-time stats and notifications. You can quad box with 4 games at once because it is the best way to watch the game. The way that you watch becomes next level. So if you call yourself a big fan, you have to get Xfinity. Learn more at Xfinity.com. Xfinity, imagine that.
All right, welcome back. It's time to start talking a little birds because they are things are not going well over there at the NovaCare complex. Like I said to start, well, Za'Darius Smith just quit, and they already didn't have any pass rushers. I see on Twitter people asking, can we bring BG back? BG is very happy right here at PHLY hosting his Unblocked show. Make sure you check that out. He's also, pushing Crooked Tees. That's the side. Yeah, right there. Check out the Crooked Tees. But let us not forget, Brandon Graham retore his triceps in the Super Bowl. Clearly, it was never all the way healed, and then it retore. If I'm him, I'm not rehabbing that injury, at least to the level of like, oh, yes, a right tackle is going to grab me by that arm, and then I can go out and play again. That's not really an option. I don't know what the options are for this team. I've seen, maybe they can trade for Trey Hendrickson. I don't know how much Howie's going to invest in this team right now when things are going very poorly, but that's on the defensive side of the ball. I have faith that they'll figure out the defense. I don't know if I have that faith for the offense right now. Not after some of the quotes that came out. And you just look at these numbers. Like, the best rush yards is 25th, and that's the best rank of anything they have, when the rush offense has been freaking terrible. When you look at, yards per run and EPA per play and things like that, it's just like, yeah, someone's going to rush for some yards. We have Jalen Hurts. We can't throw the ball at all, so clearly someone's going to have to run. But you look at some of these quotes, and, Lane Johnson says a lot of stuff. I don't know if it's ever as poignant as this. Our own E.J. Smith quoted this after the game the other day. Lane says, I don't know if we're predictable, but it seems a lot harder than it needs to be. Maybe moving forward, we start looking for more variety, hitting the perimeter some, doing a little bit more of that. You can game plan all you want, but when you get into the game, it's about making those adjustments from the sideline. You can game plan all you want, but we have to make adjustments, and we have to play better. We're not efficient in any phase. Man, it really sounds like Lane Johnson is looking at the play design, the play calling, the variety of play, and just going, this ain't going to work. And if your team does not have, if your offensive lineman, longest tenured player, is just looking at this going, I don't see how this would work. Well, I can't imagine anybody has any confidence in what is going on. And I don't know how you fix that, especially 6 games, 7 games into the season. This is a constant problem. The turnover of offensive play calling duties, the offensive coordinating duties, because every time the Eagles have a good offensive year, that coach goes on to get a head coaching job, and they replace him with someone who is substandard. We're seeing quotes from around the league. This is Brian Johnson 2.0. We all know how 2023 went, and it appears to be going in that direction again. I don't know what the answer is. Me personally, I floated this on maybe Thursday or Friday. Maybe I had a few drinks. Maybe he was just fed up with the team. Bring back Doug Peterson. What the hell is he doing? We saw him get hot calling plays for a few months, and it resulted in a Super Bowl once. Why not? Mike McDaniel's about to become available. It's not going well in Miami. Maybe he's an OC. Sometimes there is the failing, succeeding to the level of your own incompetence. Like, you just keep getting promoted until you get a job you can't handle. Maybe that's Mike McDaniel. He is just a play design, offensive coordinator, get high and come up with some interesting stuff kind of dude. And then when he's like in charge of everybody, it's like, oh, I don't know, man, play better. I don't know what to tell you. Like, maybe that's Mike McDaniel. And I don't know the solution here, but it does seem as if Kevin Patullo is kind of in over his head.
Well, it's surprising that now it comes from Lane Johnson, who has been with this team, as you brought up, the longest of any. He's been in the league for 13 seasons now, and he's been
Chip's second year,
first
year.
Yeah, so he had Chip Kelly and Pat Shurmur, over the first couple of years. Then you go to Frank Reich, then you go to Mike Groh, then you go to Shane Steichen, then you go to Brian Johnson, then Kellen Moore, now Kevin Patullo. He's had a bunch of different iterations of offensive play callers, whether it be the head coach or the offensive coordinator. Some have been good, some have not been good. But when you think about that much turnover, for a guy to never really complain about play calling over a 13-year career, the longest tenured guy on the team, like, now for it to come out, either one of two things are happening. He either is saying, this is so bad it needs to be addressed, or I'm getting too old for this bleep.
Yeah.
Which is not good either, because that tells me that, like, he's starting to get to a point where he's thinking about maybe being done.
When he's looking at his buddies, like, man, Jason has this whole life. He got his Super Bowl. We won one without him, but, like, he's like a national celebrity now. You look at BG, damn, man, went out on top, came back, gets his second ring. Amazing. And now, like, am I going to be in that Jason Fletcher Cox where my last year potentially, and he says he has a ton left, but we also heard that, 5 weeks ago from Za'Darius Smith, who just up and quit. But is he looking at, am I going to be in this, like, 2023 Fletcher Cox, Jason Kelce class of, yeah, probably should have just hung it up when I had the opportunity, and now I'm going to be a part of this freaking disaster, and that's going to be my last year, like, leave with a bad taste in my mouth. Listen, once you get 2 rings, it's kind of like, dog, you're a legend. I don't care if the Eagles didn't win a game this year. My opinion of Lane Johnson will not deteriorate. But I bet if your last year is like, yeah, everyone in the locker room's mad. We got our best receiver tweeting a bunch of nonsense. Everyone hates the play calling. When Jalen calls it, we all roll our eyes and go, maybe this will work. Probably not. That's got to be very frustrating. And he does say dumb stuff. Lane Johnson has said dumb things in the past. I don't know if he's ever said poignant things like, yeah, the offense sucks. I don't know what to tell you. It's predictable. And we're all saying the same. It's not as if this is news, but it feels like that it's coming from him. It's poignant.
Well, and I will say this. It's not the same play calling. It's not the same coach. It's not the same scheme. But I was looking at some of the route trees from other teams this weekend and over the course of the season. I'll tell you, I think one of the guys that has been schemed really, really well, and their team is 2-3-1, so take it for what it's worth. The Cowboys they don't have a winning record, but I think one of the guys that has been schemed really well this year is George Pickens. I think they've done a really nice job of getting him in space, and then he creates because he's a good player, right? And it was something you didn't see in Pittsburgh was he was getting really frustrated because he wasn't getting ability to create because his offensive play calling was bad, his quarterback play was bad. It was a lot of bad going on. I look at that route tree, and then I think about what A.J. Brown runs, who to me is a better receiver than George Pickens, and I look at Devontae Smith, who I believe is also a better receiver than George Pickens, and I watch their route trees develop, and I'm like, we feel like we're running Madden plays here. Yeah. And I understand, again, it's a different scheme. You have a quarterback who has the ability to run. You have the elite running game. You have what is a good offensive line when they're healthy. They're not playing particularly well right now, but when they're healthy, it's a good offensive line. You have a lot of things that Dallas does not currently have, and because of that, Dallas has to throw the rock a lot. But I also think that there is an internal issue with the play calling that has led to some of these problems. You're too good to not be playing this well.
Yeah, and this comment, are we supposed to just say things are good, Mason, when they're bad? Because things are bad. Like, I'm supposed to say things are good? That's asinine.
Well, and they're 4-2, and if you would have told me with this schedule,
embarrassed on national TV by a joke of a team. I don't care what they did in September.
If you would have said to me after 6 games, because of the schedule, Super Bowl, whatever, they're 4-2, I would have probably told you that's a really good place to be because I didn't expect them to win 14 games again this year. A lot of us said in the 10, 11, 12 range because of the schedule. If you'd have said that 4-2, that's fine. You start 4-0. You're masking some things. You're winning is all that, because a couple weeks ago we said winning is all that matters, and that was true when you were 4-0, and then you lose to the Broncos the way you did, and then you get pretty embarrassed by the Giants. That's where winning is all that matters can't be applied because you're not winning over the last 2 weeks.
And that gets to the point of it was fine if they figure it out from here. Like, we get by with this play that's and then we pick it up a bit, but it's going the wrong direction. Like, yeah, if you only win a game because you block a field goal at the very end, like, that might not be the greatest way to win a game, but you bank the W and you learn from your mistakes and you improve. Things have gone backwards. And Tyler, you showed us those stats. Like, they're not good. All right, we have to hit this second commercial, and then we're going to do some fun stuff. Whether it's a sore knee, a stiff shoulder, or nagging back pain, Rothman Orthopedics is here to help you get back to the life you love. Their team of specialists treats all kinds of orthopedic issues, from everyday strains to long-term joint pain, with care that's efficient, effective, and close to home. Don't let pain keep you sidelined. Schedule an appointment today at rothmanortho.com/PHLY. Rothman Orthopedics, your mobility, our mission.
All right, listen, let me tell you about our friends over at Ace Hardware Home Services, because as the weather starts to get a little bit chilly, it's been pretty crummy the last couple of days, if we're being honest. The last thing you need is your home projects piling up, especially the ones that you have to do outside. That's where Ace Hardware Home Services comes in, and they bring the local pros that get the job done right the first time to get you ready for the colder months. Whether it's heating tune-ups or plumbing fixes to generators, emergency repairs, their experts handle all of the work. It's no guesswork, no stress, just great work by local pros who get the job done right with satisfaction guaranteed. You can find the help that you need for your next home project at acehardwarehomeservices.com to get started on your next project.
All right, I want to do a little Matt's Hates Mornings, because this is something that just bothers me, and I don't understand it, and no amount of explanation will lead me to understand it. I get a school bus coming to a complete stop at train tracks. A school bus is like, 50 freaking feet long. You got to make sure you can get the whole thing across. There's also like 100 kids screaming, being ridiculous on a school bus. So maybe you can't hear the chimes of the warning, like, hey, train coming, especially in the daylight. Maybe you can't see the lights. Abundance of caution, understandable. A minivan marked school bus is not a school bus. It's not. It's a minivan with like 3 kids in it. There's absolutely no reason for you to have to come to a complete stop at train tracks. You can look and see, and it takes 1 second for you to get across those train tracks. It's absolutely asinine. And listen, I live right next to some train tracks, so maybe this happens to me more often, and it pisses me off because I'm just like trying to turn into my driveway, and some mom is like, oh, I got to stand here for 3 seconds for no reason. If you live in my town, which I can't imagine you're a school bus going out of town when you're not even a bus, you're a minivan, you know the time the trains come by. It comes by at the same freaking time every single day. It comes by some point between 5:30 and 6:30 p.m., some point between 11 and 11:45 p.m. That's it. If it's not those times, there is no train. I don't get why we're coming to a complete stop here. It drives me nuts. Why? What is the purpose? What is the purpose? That's the entire Matt's Hates Morning.
That's the whole rant.
I just, it's stupid. It's absolutely freaking stupid. All right, let's wrap it up with on this date, October 13th, 2008, Matt Stairs rips one into the night, his home run against the Dodgers. Better times, Tyler. Better freaking times.
I said that exact same thing to Jamie. I was like, remember when baseball was fun? Because baseball's just become, it almost feels like a job. Now it is a job for me, but the last couple of years have been like April through June of last year was fun. August and September of this year was fun. But we've almost gotten to Eagles NFC championship level where it's like, please get over the hump. And so you're kind of almost eliminating the regular season, which over 162 games, if you're trying to watch it through an Eagles lens, you're going to go insane. Because the Phillies for the last 2 years have won 191 games in the last 2 regular seasons. That's astounding. But the way that they've lost in the last 2 postseasons, it leaves you a lot to be desired, quite frankly.
That's how I had a hockey coach who every year would come in the locker room after we eventually got eliminated and said, sorry, seniors, unless you win the championship, you always lose your final game, and you're always going to have that sort of bad taste in your mouth the way it ends. But even, at least in 2022, there was this feeling of overachievement and the sky is the limit going forward. They then, add Trey Turner. Some things kind of go their way. And it just feels like since then, it's gone backwards. And that will always lead to the bad times. But in 2008, the only time in our lifetime we won the final game of the season, they clinched that World Series, and they couldn't have done it without Matt Stairs ripping one into the night on October 13th, 2008. All right, that is all the time we have for you on Philadelphia today. Thank you all for listening. Thanks for hanging out. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. Follow us right here on the YouTube page, and hit the like button. The likes make me feel good about myself. Maybe we don't like the teams, but you're sitting here watching me, so perhaps you like the show. Follow me on Twitter at Philadelphia PHLY, and make sure you're following the podcast wherever you get those. Just search Philadelphia. All right, that'll do it for us today. I am Bill Matz. Thank you to Tyler Zulli. Till tomorrow, be excellent to each other.
We all silly like the mayor.